Danny, I am so happy to see you and always have so much fun with you. Nashville, I feel like, lets you and I both get into our fun states.
Yeah.
We always enjoy it here. NPGA does a fantastic job.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about this conference? And it doesn't necessarily, and by your favorite thing of the conference, maybe more specific, like, is it the sessions? Is it the time at the trade show floor? Is it, the networking? Like, what is your favorite thing about this conference? Because I feel like you and I both have strong feelings on this being probably one of the premier conferences, throughout the entire year.
So before my favorite, I would say I'm just so impressed how they run it. It really is. I mean, we go to a lot of shows, nothing against the other shows, but there's a lot of talent in putting this show together. There's a reason 5,000 people are here.
Yep.
And it just grows every year. I think Steve Kaminsky is fantastic, runs a really nice shop for everybody, and the staff underneath him. Being on board of directors, I'm at the winter meetings, I'm at the fall meetings, so I really do get to know the staff, and they care. They're wonderful. So they did a really nice job with it. As for my favorite thing, I would almost have to say, for purposes of the committees that I'm on, is the education and the exhibits and the education, because I sit on the conventions committee, so we do spend a lot of time. I mean, these aren't video conference call for an hour, what should we do next year? These are 3-day meetings throughout the United States of, on the conventions committee, 40 people sitting around a, squared off round table kind of setup, talking about everything and understanding what's going to be on the show, and sitting and running the conventions committee with, the education committee with Tom Janicki. Again, it's very rewarding. It's hard. There are 14 slots for education. This year, I think there were 47 RFPs that came in for those 14 slots. So it's not easy picking who will speak, who won't, who should be put, who wanted to speak alone, but guess what? You're going to be part of a panel type of thing. And because of the time spent on it, it's very rewarding when the education works. And I think the fact that Sunday morning, I moderated a session this morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, there were 75 people there. That's pretty impressive.
I was one of them. Yeah. That was good. That was good. Maybe one of these years you guys will, pull our ticket,
Sure.
Can I be is there a really nice bottle of whiskey that I could maybe influence our name to the top of the heap?
Certainly as part of a panel. I think, if you pick the areas that they want to see on panels, one is going to be marketing for sure. One is going to be technology for sure. And a third one is going to be actual delivery, efficiency, optimization studies, et cetera. And that's usually what we see every year. They do try to switch it around.
I'll be on one of the acquisitions ones. What do you do to be really good when you're acquiring? Because, and maybe that's a good way to kind of jump in here, but the industry's consolidating. It's no secret. Heating oil, propane, I don't care which one you're talking about. They're still consolidating.
Right.
And honestly, without being beating our chests, but I feel like we do a really good goddamn job about, with helping the clients that we work with acquire companies really well with all the assets that they need to be successful with that customer base and minimize attrition. And I would just love to one of these days to be on one of those, panels and talk about a little bit about our process. I'm not going to give away the farm, on it all, but just talk about what that looks like, because, they use Townsend as an example. We have the acquisition playbook now that what we call it. And Brooks and Zach and Jim all know, all right, we're at this stage, don't forget Andrew's acquisition playbook. He'll freak out and yell at us, Right. But I love that. I love that they're thinking, they're wait, we got to do that, because they know when they give us all that stuff that they're all right, good. So we don't have to worry about the Google properties. We don't have to worry about, the email lists and all the things that go along with that. And then it's just a smooth transition. We get them on their portal. We get them utilizing the online buying process if that's the case. But yeah, I feel like we've worked really hard at differentiating ourselves.
I think you're concentrating a lot on a playbook you put together of after the acquisition happens, which is very important. I think what this industry does well with the companies that are involved, the Cetanes of the world, et cetera, is the companies that are acquiring, they do a good job preparing them. I don't think we do a good job preparing the companies that are selling.
I would agree with that.
It's a lot the seller's fault because they're just not prepared to be sold. And the 9 o'clock session you're talking that I did this morning, we moderated, was called "Should I Stay or Should I Go Now?" Very cute. And talking about succession planning and exit planning, the difference between the two. Succession planning for relatives who will be getting to the next level. Succession planning when the relative is not the right person to go to the next level. We've spoken about this often in various different ideas and what needs to be done. But in addition to that, a company that wants to sell will typically come to someone like you or me. Whether we are the person that's going to put it together, they like us, they know us, they work with us. Hey, I'm thinking of selling. What do you think I should do? And you'll just ask them some general questions. I mean, a small one, and it should be a small one, of what's your EBITDA? And their answer is, how do you spell that? And it's
what is that? Like, it's an acronym. What does that
mean? Right,
exactly?
But it's a big problem. They don't understand it. How many customers do you have? That should be an easy one. Well, I'm not really sure. And it's funny, and I just say to them, happy to introduce you to people, but you really got to
get your shit together here.
How many customers? 2,000 to 3,000. That's not an answer. It's not an answer. You have to understand it better.
What's the percentage of the will calls and automatics? Like, is it customer-owned tanks? Like,
what is your delivery? How many trucks do you have? How many are you using? Why do you have so many trucks? Can you get rid of them? How many gallons sell? 3 million. How many people in the company? 100. And of course, I'm exaggerating, but the point is they don't understand that they're not set up to be sold. And if their answer is, I'm thinking of selling and I want that to happen in the next 6 to 12 months, the answer is not going to happen. You need 12 to 24 months to prepare yourself to be able to say, I think I want to be sold. And that's something that we as an industry, maybe we need the Andrew playbook for the small company of, here's what you need to do before you even think about being sold.
Okay,
that's
I'm on it. Yeah. It's great. I love that. I love the good takeaways
and working with the Anguses of the world, working with the Grays of the world, meaning giving you an idea. Speak to me, speak to Gray, and everybody. What needs to be done? Because I know, for example, Marty would look at it in one way, which he should, from the financial point of view. I know I would look at it more, what are you selling? 70% of your expenses have to do with driving the truck. So are you looking into that the right way? How old are your drivers? What is your miles per gallon, gallons per stop, stops per hour? What is your average gallons delivered? What are the size of the tanks, et cetera? I think, you tell me, isn't that something that Townsend would want to know, just using them as an example, just as much as what is the EBITDA?
Yeah, of course, because they're going to ask a good company like Townsend is going to ask those questions, anyway. So if you have all of that ready and you want to achieve your timeline for the sale of your business, then the more you're ready, the less that has to get done during negotiations. And also, and again, just, thinking about get my business ready to sell playbook is the less that they ask for during negotiations gives them less to negotiate less with.
Yeah,
I don't know if that makes sense exactly, but you get what I'm saying?
I understand, but
if you have all your shit together,
right,
and I'm like,
right,
all right, Danny, I don't really have a negotiation point to kind of argue that I'm only going to give you $1.5 million instead of $2 million for your business,
Right.
So because you have all of your stuff together and it all makes sense.
But I always look at it also. If I was looking to buy a company, if I'm in that position of putting my playbook together,
yep,
I think I'm looking more at operations than I am looking at finances. Why? Because if my company is good, the finances are going to be fine. If the operations of the company I'm buying are not running well, is it going to turn around? Am I looking at a company, I know we're at the propane show, but at a heating oil company, that is averaging 130 gallons of delivery and has X amount of trucks that they don't need and has no monitors whatsoever and has no interest in, over the last few years, to have done anything about that. So am I buying the company or am I saving the company? And it's something to think about. Now, in the same instance, if I have a phenomenal back office system that I'm actually using, if I have monitors, if I have Bright, if I have Adept, which we have spoken about, where I understand how to maximize my deliveries, maybe it doesn't matter as much. I have to look and say, here's a company, they have 2,130 customers, and 70% of them are there 5 years plus. I want it. I don't care what their numbers are, because I'm going to take it in and I'm going to do it the right way. So maybe it's a mixture. Maybe it's a mixture of, does the company who's buying really know what they're doing, which is important? Does the company who's selling at least set themselves up the right way to understand what the company that's buying is looking for?
Right.
I guess it's a combination.
Yeah. I want to ask you something, and this is, you know, this is always coming from a good place. So your timeline for, you know, being in the industry is much shorter than mine. Fair to say?
Thank you. Yes.
Was that a nice way to say it? Fair to say. All right. But your opinion on this topic is extremely important to me, and I'm sure other people. What scares you the most about all of us having a job in 10 years?
I'm not scared of anybody having a job in 10 years. I'm really not. It's more, does the person want to do what they're supposed to do? I think it's unbelievable how many more father-son teams there are now that are 35 to 45, 65 to 75 than there were 10 years ago. And you would think that there should have been the same amount, and, you know, there were the 25s and 35s also, but there just seems to be so many more. And it's not a scary thing of, will you be in the industry? The question is, are you going to step up to the plate for what the industry is looking for? All the technology is there for you to use to make a really kick-ass, efficient company. I think the younger generation looks at it more than the older generation, and that's not, I'm probably somewhere in between, but that's not saying anything bad about them. It's just that, hey, we've run this business like this, it's been fine, it's okay. That scares me, because what they don't understand is you cannot survive running the company the way you did 5 to 10 years ago, 5 to 10 years from now. You will be bought by someone else, you will be eaten up. So, but those who do run it the right way, clients of mine are in their 30s and say, should I be doing this? My answer is yes. If you follow, I'll use your words, if you follow the playbook, there's no reason you can't, right? And we have a lot of people like that. You have the Van Dorns of the world in New Jersey. You have Eli Van Etten up in Monticello, New York. You have all these people who are the next generation coming in, but doing what they're supposed to do. Listening to me, listening to you, listening to the financial consultants that they have. And we're not smarter. I mean, I certainly wouldn't just get in a truck and try to drive it. I don't know what the hell I was doing either. But we are experts in those areas, and I think they understand that they should be listening to that. It's worth the investment to spend money with us to make it better. And then, yes, then they'll be fine.
I was like, think about those younger guys coming in, and I think about myself when I was younger and like how my career has ended, or not ended, but has gotten me to where I am today. If you could talk to your 22 to 24-year-old self, what would you tell that Danny Silverman at 22 to 24, based on what you know now?
About the industry?
Anything,
what was the first thing I would tell myself is listen more and stop talking. My wife would like to hear that.
She made that clear.
Right?
Yeah.
No, but I really would listen more and stop talking. I think when you're young, you're too apt to think when someone's saying, here's how I think you should do it, your mind is saying, okay, finish what you're saying so I can tell you what I'm going to do. And it's not a good thing. I think you need to listen, swallow it, and then respond.
Yep.
And I think that would make a big difference from even in the industries I was in before. I was in the mortgage business before, trading securities, now commodities. It's all the same damn thing, but it was a different business. And but I knew what to do. I knew how to put those securities together. I knew what was best. And I didn't listen as much because you were young. That's what you do. And the more you listen, the better off you are. That's certainly the first thing I would tell my 20-something-year-old Danny Silverman.
What would your wife tell the 20-year-old Danny Silverman?
What would my wife tell the 20-year-old Danny Silverman knowing now?
Yeah.
I would probably say the same thing. Yeah. Listen a little more and you're fine. Don't talk so much. Have another glass of wine. Just listen to people and drink wine. Yeah.
I wanted to just get away from the industry a little bit because I feel like we have similar interests in like travel and personal things. Where haven't you been in the world, the United States, wherever, that you're just like dying to get to?
It's such a bad question for me. I have no bucket list. I really have no bucket list. We just had a conversation, my wife and I, with another couple. My wife's family has something called a SUDS level. I think it's standard units of discomfort. Like something goes wrong and they look at you and say, what's your SUDS level? Oh, it's a 6 right now, right? So my granddaughter, believe it or not, asked my wife this question. She said, what is your 0 SUDS level? Right? Meaning you have no units of discomfort whatsoever. And she asked us separately and we had the same answer. Sit on a beach, read a book, do nothing. So to me, it really doesn't matter where I am. If I travel, it would be very nice. I like that we vacation a lot, but to me, I just want to relax. I'm not into climbing this mountain, water skiing here, jumping off of this. I just want to sit on the beach and do nothing.
Nice.
So go to Israel often. Obviously, I have family there. Love being there. Go to an island every so often to just relax. I'm good. I have no travel bucket list. Sorry.
Nah, I mean, that's okay. Sometimes I ask that question because I was like, I'm always trying to like find out like maybe that should be on my bucket list. But it's fine.
We went to Rome for 5 days a couple of years ago on the way to Israel because my sister said to me, why don't the two of you come with us? We'll go to Rome for 5 days, then we'll go off to Israel. And she said to me, you take care of the tickets for everything. I'll take care of all the plans. I said, great. So friends of mine said to me, oh, what are you doing this summer? I'm going to Rome. What are you doing? I said, I have no idea. And I seriously, every morning
Sometimes
I woke
it's
up,
fun though.
we went to breakfast and I said, okay, where are we going? I had no idea for 5 days what I was doing. It's phenomenal. I don't need the planning.
One more industry question, Danny, and then I'm going to let you ask me one. If you had Danny's energy, and let's say, for example, you're delivering annually 5 million gallons of heating oil. Some of it's commercial. Maybe there's a little mix of commercial in there. And you're doing 3 million gallons of propane. What level of technology should you have in your business?
I think it's too broad of a question. Where am I? Am I in Maine?
Well,
am I in Pennsylvania? And again, you don't have to answer that. But am I in Maine? Am I in Pennsylvania? Is the business that I'm in 10 years old? Is it 25 years old? Is it 150 years old? I think a lot of that goes into it that you have to decide because you can't get every gadget. I think that's part of what we're saying.
Over tech yourself is a real thing.
But what should I do? I mean, I love what I do with Angus, and I think we have a lot of technology, software, consulting advice, etc. that if I did do that, I would certainly go to Phil and say, you tell me, and listen to what he says. I would come to you. What should I do? I would research the back office systems to really understand which one is the best for me. They're all good. Which one is the best for me? I don't know. I would have to see, but I would want to listen. I know too many people in the industry. I would go to them. As much as I would go to you, I would speak to Rich Goldberg as well. I mean, these are just people that I know. To Marty Kirshner, I would speak to him and say, what do you think? It's the question you said, what did I tell myself a long time ago? Listen more and stop talking. And I think that's a big part of how you run the business. Would I grow the propane more than the heating oil? Absolutely. I think I see that happening all over, and not because we're here. We're certainly not plugging the MPGA, but I think I would definitely look more into propane. That seems to be the direction that people should be taking more. It doesn't mean I would give up on heating oil. Far from it. But I think I would want to make that 5+3, 5+5.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a solid answer. All right, Danny. I always end with you get to ask me one question, and nothing is really off the table.
So what have you learned? And I'll say it this way. You told me I'd asked 20 years ago, the Danny Silverman. I want to know what the half a year married.
Actually, more like almost a year, Danny.
It's almost.
Oh my God! It's almost a year.
Wow. So what would the 10-month married Andrew tell the Andrew from 5 years ago? And I'm not saying industry or not. What would you tell yourself?
You should have found Caitlin earlier. Honestly, it's like having Caitlin. That's my wife, obviously. Has helped me to be able to do so much more for them. She takes care of so many things that like normally I would have to take care of, and it's allowed me to diversify in other businesses. We have 4 businesses at this point. It's allowed me to spend more time in the energy industry, which is our main business that, we spend 90% of our time in. And which ultimately it gives me more time to spend with the clients, being better for them, understanding their needs, and growing our client base. We've gotten more staff and stuff like that, and it's allowed me to spend more time with them. And the onboarding process, as you know, is our industry is so unique. Until you can speak the language and understand, how the industry really works, you might know what heating oil is coming in. And I don't take offense to this, anyone, but I don't like hiring staff from within our industry. I like bringing people from outside that have literally zero experience in this industry. And if they don't know what heating oil is, that's even better, because you can show them the Maderia Group way versus them doing it or thinking that another way might be the best, And I'm not saying that our ways are perfect or the best, but they work.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, I would say like should have. And again, you don't know when you're going to meet that right person, right? I mean, it took me 40 years. You were quicker than me, but you don't know when that person comes along. And like I would say, I wish Caitlin had come along a little bit sooner, and maybe I would be even further, along in career-wise. But I'm just happy, Like I never thought I would be a family man, to be honest with you. It wasn't. I didn't think it was in my DNA. And I'm still figuring out this being married thing. I think some days I suck at it. I think some days I'm really good at it. But I've learned
is taking care of Caitlin and Raylan taught you better how to take care of your clients?
Oh God, yeah. Like I think I speak a little bit different sometimes to client. I'm a little more compassionate.
Yeah.
Before I'd be like, no, it's like this, and they're like, all right, geez. And now I'm like, so we're gonna do it like this because this, and this. I'm much more explanatory, and I think that comes from just spending so much time with Raylan.
Yeah.
Because she's 10, and you can't just be like bark at her, and plus she's so intuitive that she wants a damn reason for everything, which I love, and also sometimes I hate, because I'm like sitting there for a half an hour over how to load the dishwasher.
Right.
But no, I love it. We just got a dog. I mean, we're like doing the whole thing now. But it's good. I appreciate it. Danny, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Good speaking to you.